Welcome back, everyone. Today we have Stephanie with us, and Stephanie, where are you calling from?
Williston, North Dakota.
North Dakota. Tell me, because I've seen a lot of your TikTok videos, and you bundle up.
Yeah.
I've seen that, which I've never seen any blue collar man or woman wear their hard hat with skiing goggles, and I was like, that's a great idea when you're out in the cold. I've never thought of that. I've seen people, sunglasses and everything, but you put them ski goggles on, and then
Hmm?
had to really think. I was like, damn, it must be real cold out where you are.
Yeah. Well, honestly, this is a typical North Dakota saying. It wouldn't be so cold if it wasn't for the wind. And so when you're wearing a regular pair, when you're wearing a regular pair of sunglasses on your face, you
Yeah,
have this hole here, and the wind comes sideways and just annihilates you. So
yeah.
that hole there, it's actually getting into your eyes, and that cold frost hitting into your eyes from the side, it makes your eyes water. And then when it gets to about -20 to -30, you
Ugh.
only have about 20 to 30 seconds at those temperatures before your eyelashes freeze together, so you can't really do much work if your eyes are closed and frozen shut. So with the snow goggles, it covers that hole and there's no wind. So your eyes don't lose vision. They don't freeze. Your eyelashes don't freeze shut. And you just can see everything, and it fits under your hard hat. Oh, and it doesn't fog up. That's the biggest thing, because my safety glasses with other masks and my safety glasses, they'll fog up. I'm cold. If I don't feel one morsel of wind, I'm a happy camper. But as
Yeah,
soon
I
as
bet.
I
You're talking about your eyes getting frozen shut. I bet if you don't feel any wind, you're happy. Because
yeah,
I've watched
yeah.
your videos, and you bundle. I mean, you have the whole ski mask, and then you
Mhm.
have another one, and then you put your goggles on, and you got your everything.
Mhm. Yeah, so I've got the full ski mask that comes up to here, and it's a like European engineered, so it's fog proof with the glasses. It has this air hole with it with a rubber thing. The way they do it is phenomenal. It's by air hole. And then with the goggles, now you have fog. You're not going to fog up because all that
Yeah,
condensation from your breathing in the cold, it just instant fog. So there's ways to get around all that. I feel like there's a loophole for everything. You just got to find it. And honestly, I'm Norwegian and Native American, and I feel like, there's this old Norwegian saying where there's no such thing as bad weather, there's only bad clothing. And I really feel that.
okay, yeah.
Yep.
So I do have to ask you: is it North Dakota is the coldest place in America, right? It's colder
I'd,
than Antarctica.
I'd say
I read an
Alaska.
article on, I believe it, yeah, it's colder in Alaska, but it was either North or South Dakota. It's one of those 2 that gets down to, like, negative, like, 50, 60.
It's
That's
north.
intense.
I'm born and raised in South Dakota, and living in North Dakota now, for the last 3 years. What happens between South Dakota and North Dakota is South Dakota will get lots of snow with cold weather, but in North Dakota, what happens in the clouds is once it gets to be a certain temperature of freezing, the clouds will not allow the snow to drop. And so it's too cold here for the snow to fall. But in South Dakota, it's not as cold in North Dakota, so they get more snow. We don't get as much snow because we get the worst cold.
That's
So,
crazy.
so we get frozen, but not as like much snowfall. They get more snowfall than us, but they're a little bit warmer. By like that 10-degree, 20-degree difference makes a difference in the snowfall.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so it's colder here, but less snow. Except
Alright,
it
so
can't
hearing
fall.
about how cold it is on the job sites and how you have to bundle up, tell me, what do you do for a living?
So I'm a business owner. I do own two companies in the oil field. One is Welding Via LLC, and then the other one is Cyrie Energy Services. So basically run all of my welding business off of my Welding Services LLC. Then I run all of my oil field services off of my Oil Field Services LLC. I really recommend anyone that's starting to get into contracting to get two LLCs, because you can play with each other is your both of your LLCs as far as washing equipment prices, expenses and things. Lots of loopholes there when you have two, and so I operate off two. But I do probably about the beginning of the year, I would say it was more like 80% welding, 20% oil field. As the year went on, now I'm doing about 70% oil field, 30% welding. Outside of oil field, it reversed, which was better for me financially. I was able to land a nice contract, which is a monthly renewal, contract pumping. So right now I'm contract pumping during the day, and then after I'm done here, then I go back to Williston. I pump in Montana. Then after I go back to Williston, then I can do any welding projects that I have or repairs that I need to go into town and do. So hop out of my
Crazy.
pumping truck, hop into my welding truck, go do welding work. And it's honestly worked out well. My income has doubled from the beginning of the year to now. And so I don't know, it's just I've snowballed into this success that I'm starting to try to figure out how to manage. It's a good
You're
thing.
killing it.
It's
You're
a good
killing
thing.
it. That's
It's a good thing, but it's
awesome.
also like a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, I bet, but I mean, you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so I just, kind of stay on how do I can elevate into the next level. And every day I just try to be the sponge and learn more about all the things that I'm doing. I can fine tune everything. And once I've mastered something, then I'll hire someone else that I can train to do that, and I'll go figure something else out.
Exactly, exactly. Learn as much as you can. We've talked about
Mm-hmm.
that numerous times on here, is that
Mm-hmm.
when it comes down to it, knowledge is everything. It really is,
Yeah.
especially in the blue collar trades. The more
Mm-hmm.
you know, the
More you're
I
worth.
mean, yeah, your options are endless after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, I mean, even like taking on smaller jobs, like when I first came out to the oil field, I was taking on smaller jobs, working for a pretty low hourly wage, even for oil field, just because I didn't know the difference between certain tools and pieces of equipment. I was green. I didn't know anything. And so, yeah, I was paid a low amount because I didn't know anything.
Well,
But
yeah,
after gaining that experience, the money just came right along with it.
yep,
Quick.
yeah. So you say you pump trucks, right? Tell
I pump
me
oil wells.
with your pump truck. That's what I meant with
Yeah.
your pump
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah.
So you pump oil wells.
Hmm.
Tell me how what do you do? Like, how does that work? I know nothing about the oil field. I've had all these guys and women from oil fields come on, so I'm learning little by little, but
So,
there's so much stuff out there to learn. It really is. I've had so
yeah.
many different jobs, but it's all in the oil field.
Hmm.
So tell me about it.
So, there's basically a lot of data on each oil well. So, when you pull up to an oil well location, you're going to have your pumping unit. And the one that I'm on particularly now is called an Ajax, which has basically a motor that's behind it that's feeding the unit propane to keep it working. Um, Other units are either electronic or running off solely well gas. The propane is supplementing the well gas. Then, so the pumping unit is basically going like this into the well, and there's all that oil down there. And as it does this, it's pumping that fluid into these plumbing tubes, pipes of plumbing, basically, that's going over to the treater. The treater is sort of like a giant washing machine. I look at it as a
Okay.
washing machine. So the oil that's coming out of the pumping unit going straight to the treater, and as it comes out of the treater, there's baffles and separation in there. So the treater will separate everything, heat it, and drop all of the solids that are out in the oil to the bottom. And then it's got dumps there. So it's going to oil, water, and it's going to separate what's coming out of the pumping unit into the oil and the water line, and it's going to send them over to my tanks. So when I pull up, there's lots of pressure that's going on with all of these systems. Each part of it, the tanks, the treater, the pumping unit, they are all ran off of pressure that's connected to each other. So I'm going to come up to the well. So when I come up, I know there's these three main spots I need to hit: my pumping unit, my tank levels, and then my treater. So when I pull up onto location, I'm immediately going to go to my Ajax, check all of my fluids in my Ajax, which is mainly your oil, radiator fluid, and your drip oil. Kick my scrubber open. It's winter time. Absolutely have to do that. Then I'm going to go over to my wellhead. I'm going to grease my polish rod, which is the silver things going in and out. I'm
Yep.
going to grease my polish rod. There's a stuffing box there. I tighten up my stuffing box. There's these little rubber things inside there that are kind of like a buffer for the polish rod. And the polish rod beats those things down and you change them out. They're just rubber whole donuts. You change out the little rubber donuts. And then, yeah, I get my tubing and my casing pressure. I grease my polish rod, get my tubing and my casing pressure, tighten up my stuffing box, go over to my treater. Now there's all this data in the treater because that's where the magic kind of happens. Treater is so important. There's so many different ways to break down a treater. The simplest way would be I go into my treater, I'm going to get my gas sales. It's measured in metric cubic feet, so I'm going to get my MCF gas sales. I'm going to get my static pressure, and I'm going to get my treater pressure, and then my temperature of my treater, because there's a fire tube in there and you want to keep that temperature in the right spot. So I want to make sure everything's good. I'm going to check my dumps. I'm going to kick open my scrubber. I'm going to check my flare regulator. I'm going to look at my flare, make sure everything's working properly, and diagnose my treater, quick inspection on it, get my data, and then head over to my tanks. Then when I go over to my tanks, I'm going to take my gauge tape, and I'm basically just checking the oil levels. So
Okay.
there's a water tank and then your oil tanks. So I open up my water, let it air out because there's lots of vapors there that I don't want to breathe in. I open it, let it air out, walk down, and then I'll open up my oil tank. Check the level of my oil tank. My oil tanks are average about 20 feet tall. So when I get to see them about 17, 18 feet tall, I close it and then I switch over to the next tank and then I call it in. I say, hey, you guys need to come pick up this oil, selling a tank here. So
Well, what if they don't pick it up?
they do.
Don't lie.
They do.
I seen that video that the guy didn't pick it up like 3 times and you were losing your mind.
Oh, that. I thought you meant the phone. I thought you meant what if they don't pick up the phone for the load? No, they pick up
Oh, no, the oil.
the load. So there's a situation now. So when these oil haulers come in, now it's on them to test that oil and make sure that it's healthy enough for them to pick it up. So if they come up and they see that I haven't been recycling my bottoms, and by that I would be taking the oil that's in that tank, sending it back over to the treater to let the treater re-clean it in the washing machine, bring it back over to the tank before I sell it. That takes out all the water. It's called BS&W. It's basically
Okay.
bullshit water. It takes all the bullshit and water out of it and just leaves you good oil. So you recycle it before you sell it. Clean oil. Now, on that particular situation, I know I recycle all my tanks before I sell them. I close, I recycle, I call it in the next day. I know that. So I'm like, what's going on? This is good oil. And when I gauge it, it is crystal clear. That is the good stuff. Like, what do you mean? This is not even questionable oil. And so he comes up to pick it up and rejects me. Now, where these truckers get the oil game messed up is they can run themselves off because they come and pick up my load and they take a sample of it. Now they're going to take a sample of it and they're going to spin it through their centrifuge and they're going to test it in this little beaker. And they're going to tell me how much BS&W it has. 1%, 5%, 40%. Whoa, what's going on with this garbage in here? So he came and he pulled a little out of his load line, checked it. It's bad, sent it back. Well, sir, you only checked that little bit that was in the load line. Okay, so then I had a different guy come, pull 5 barrels, 10 barrels, 15 barrels, 20 barrels, 40 barrels, spin it in your centrifuge after each set, 10, 20, 30, 40. Tell me if it got better or not. Well, it got better as he got closer to 40. And I'm like, oh, wow, the more oil you take, the cleaner it gets. It was in your load line. Take it all and sell it. Don't call me back. So, I mean, it was a fight. It was a
I
fight
bet.
because he was constantly rejecting me. And then I'm calling a professional chemical guy to come out here and assess my oil, giving me all these treatment recommendations. I follow his treatment recommendations. I do what he says, even though I know it's clean. And then he comes and rejects me again. And I'm like, you guys can fight. So you guys can fight because, yeah, so it ended up being the trucker just wasn't pulling as he should have
Enough.
been, and he could have also cleared the load line and then tried the tank, but he didn't also thief his tank like he should have, which is taking a sample from the actual tank. These truckers out here, I've found, you have about 30% good guys, 70% knuckleheads, and the knuckleheads don't want to walk the catwalk. They're allergic to the stairs and they don't want to go up there. Some of them also aren't required. Some of them also, their companies aren't required, don't make them do it either. So some of them don't have to. And I would honestly do it from my truck if I was a trucker and my company said I didn't have to. Why would I go thief the tank if I don't have to? But
Yeah.
it's just how each company operates, honestly, as far as that goes. But that was a situation. But honestly, ever since then, I have the trucker that came and did the sampling for me. I only request him to pick up that well now.
There you
So
go. I mean, yeah,
we have a deal.
make it easy,
Yep.
right?
No one picks up that oil except for my man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
No fights.
Yep. Yep. He knows what to do. And he knows to call
So
me if it's looking bad. So
so while you're doing all this, are you married?
no, but I do have a promise ring.
Okay. Do
I'm
you
just
have
waiting for him to
children?
ask. I mean, we talked about it, and but yeah, I do have a significant other.
Do you have children?
I have two. Yep, they're adults though.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. That makes it easy then.
Yeah. So see, I couldn't do this if they were younger.
Okay.
I think it would be very difficult to do this unless I had a like live-in nanny.
Yeah.
It would be very difficult to do what I'm doing as a single mom with kids at home.
How old are you?
I'm 37.
You're 37.
Hmm.
You're killing it. You're crushing it. You're crushing it.
But here's the thing, I feel like it's a bigger deal that I just got out of prison. I just got out of prison and I came here on parole. And I did this fast. So if I can, anyone can do this.
Yeah,
You know, especially felons. And I feel like as a felon, you kind of feel like your life is ruined when you get out of prison. You think all
I
you
could see
got is
that.
Culver's and McDonald's, but it's not true. The oil field will take you and welcome you in.
Well,
And
a
it's,
lot of blue collar will. I mean, that's
yeah.
you look. I mean, today, yeah, too, but still, back in the day,
Hmm.
that's blue collar was a lot of the
Yeah.
misfits, the
Hmm.
outlaws, the felons. I mean, that's
Hmm.
what happens. But
So I guess I fit right in.
eh,
Kind of.
hey, got to fit in somewhere, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Yep.
that's awesome. I mean, you out of prison, on parole, two businesses now, out here crushing it every day.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
proud of you. That's
Thank
awesome.
I'm also looking into starting a halfway house. After I have my 3 years of no incidents with OSHA under my businesses, then I've already been in communication with the prison in South Dakota where I went, South Dakota Women's Prison, and I've been in communications with the captain of security there, some case managers there, and also parole officers. I might be starting a halfway house in Williston to help bring women straight from prison straight to the oil field to give them a chance at a real job where they can make real paychecks. Because as a person that's gotten out on parole and didn't succeed and got sent back to prison, that was me 3 times. So my failures there was I was getting out and I was waiting tables and I was working at cleaning horse stables, working at ranches and waiting tables and barely making enough money to feed my fucking cat.
Yeah,
So,
it
you
just
know,
you get out of that and you think, "What am I gonna do?" Like you said, "What can I do?" And then, yeah,
mhm,
you're waiting tables. Well, right there, you're almost giving up
yeah,
'cause you're like, "This is it. This is all I
mhm,
can do. This is
yeah,
bullshit.
mhm,
Why try?"
yeah, yeah. And then you get stuck in that cycle of, oh, I still
Yep,
need to be able to come up with more money. How am I going to come up with more money? I'm going to go do the illegal things that I used to do for money.
yep,
And now I'm back in prison. But if you can stop it there and give people an actual outlet to where they're making so much money, they don't have to think about like, oh my God, how am I going to make more money? They're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to get this again in 2 weeks. you know so that change, the money does change you in the sense to where it will make you act right. You'll start to respect your check enough to act right for it. And I think that people in prison need to have that outlet because that's why they go back, because they
yeah.
don't have one.
No, I
So
think you're 100% right on that.
hopefully I'm going to be spending 2025 applying for grants and getting it all the technicalities worked out, and then in 2 years I'm hoping to get it started. We'll
That's
see.
amazing.
I know, we'll see. It's just
Are
a
you
goal.
gonna hire these women onto your crew?
I'm
You
thinking
can
about
start
it.
your own whole women's welding and pumping service.
I have been
All
thinking
women.
about I have been thinking about that since I started. And the thing about that is that it can go two ways, and I am such a control freak and I've worked really hard to build up my business reputation because as a woman in the oil field in Williston and as a woman welder in the oil field in Williston, there's only like a few of us girls out here and I know most of them. And we're all friends and we network with each other and send each other jobs and all that and it's great. I just the thing about it is like it's also my same hindrance in hiring anyone, not just women, but in hiring anyone, is that once I hire a person and I say, here's a job, go do it, my business reputation is in their hands. And I'm terrified of that. And so I have to, for myself, somehow heal that to where I can release control, hire people, and allow them to not fuck up my business reputation, but I'm
Yeah.
scared to. And so that's honestly the only thing that's stopping me right now from hiring anyone. But I would love to hire 2 6-man crews for my oil field services company and 4 welders, certified welders that are good in taking stainless. I need that are great at passing inspection on taking stainless, 4 welders, and I could be probably breaking 100 grand a month if I had that. And I know that, and I know I could do it, but I'm too scared right now to hire anyone.
You have to take that chance. You have to
I
take that leap.
know.
I mean, I can 100% agree with what you're saying. You don't want someone all the work you've put into this and you've gotten to where you are now, but if you don't take that chance, this is it. You're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to continue the road.
Yeah. So 2025 will be my release of control year, I'm
But just
thinking.
remember, if you hire someone that you think is gonna be great and everything, and it turns out after a week you're like, "This isn't happening,"
Hmm.
fire them.
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, man, it's not working out. I'm sorry. You gotta go."
Right.
You know,
Right.
don't feel bad on that because then you're
Hmm.
gonna screw yourself in the end, yes.
Hmm.
But
Right.
you
Yeah.
then again, there's plenty of good people out there looking for these jobs that are
And I know,
very talented
so
too.
many of them. And it's like, if I wanted to do this tomorrow, I have a fleet of people in my back pocket I could call that are ready with their tools and their truck and certifications. And I just know that. And I'm just like, I just got to prepare myself to do it. It'll be coming. I don't know when I'm
I'm
not scared.
excited now.
I know. But
I'm excited.
as far as hiring women versus men though, and I probably will get so much like backlash for this, but this is my honest opinion. I feel like if I had a choice between 50 men in the oil field that claim to be kings of the oil field that know everything with all this experience, or I had 10 women that didn't know the difference between a pipe wrench and a crescent wrench, you know who I'm taking. And there's a reason for that.
I bet I know your reason.
Okay, so if I have 50 men that are kings of the oil field that all have their own stuff, they're
You
stuck in
can't tell them shit.
ways. They're not going to
Yep,
let me, they're definitely not going to let me train them to do it
exactly.
how I want.
You make a great point. That is right. I mean, yeah, you can have these guys that are full throttle, balls to the wall, awesome.
Mm-hmm. Old
But if
dogs,
you
not no new
can't
tricks.
exactly, if you can't be like, "Hey, this is what I need you to do." I'm not looking for the argument back. I'm looking for you to go do it.
And I've
And
worked
I
with them
understand
and
that
they'll
it's
argue.
definitely how that goes. So yeah, if you had a whole crew that's green, you
Mm-hmm.
can mold them into exactly what you want.
And that's what I want because
Mhm.
I have done enough uh, working with other contractors because I'm working with other contractors now that are not affiliated with me in any way, shape, or form. And I'm going through a very frustrating time with that. And it's because they're old dogs that don't want to learn new tricks. And what can you do? You can't. And so, but if there was anyone, a girl or guy that came in new that wants to learn, I don't care if they're 50, never touched a pipe wrench in their life, and they've been waiting tables their whole life. That's cool. Pumping's not that hard. I can show you exactly how to do it and not mess it up. And there's all these ways to double and triple verify yourself so that you know before you leave location, everything is solid and will be before until you get back. And there's ways to double and triple verify that. And as a woman, I might be a little ADHD and OCD, but I double and triple verify everything. But I know when I leave pad, I double crossed all my T's and dotted all my I's, and it is good, and it will be good till I get back. And if anyone has a question, they don't have to, I'm not second guessing my answer. And so if I can train people to do things the way that I found work great, and things that didn't work great,
Absolutely.
you know, I don't think I can get that out of kings of the oil field.
I get where I understand exactly what you're saying. I agree. You have them guys. Now that's not all you oil field guys. It's not all of you,
Right. Like I
but
said, there's about 30% good guys and about
there is a
70%
handful
knuckleheads.
that yeah you think that you are hands down the best,
Hmm.
but I can tell you now that you're not.
Another thing I'd
There's
probably
guys
say,
out there that are better, but you have to. You can't be so cocky. There is easier ways of doing things nowadays.
yeah, yeah. And, I would also say that 110% of those kings of the oil field, I would also say, and I'd probably get backlash for this too, 110% of them are lying about their experience.
Oh,
I'm just going to say, I'm serious. They're
that's
not
in
being
like
honest.
I would say probably about 90% of jobs, especially blue collar. Being in the mining industry, I've seen guys to come in that they can operate this, I can run that, I can operate one of
Hmm.
these. You put them on
Hmm.
a piece of equipment, and it's like, what do I do again? You're like, what? What are you
Yep.
talking about? What do you do?
Yep. I
Turn it
can't
on.
stand that.
How?
Yep. Just be honest. Yeah. Just be honest with me about your skill level so that way I can help you in the ways that I know you need help in. But
Yep.
if I think you got it and you don't got it and you told me you got it and you don't, that's a really big deal and that can kill you out here and kill me.
Absolutely. See, that's what I'm saying is that if you make a great point, if you don't know, say it. Say you don't know. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
That goes for anyone in any trade,
Yeah. Don't be
especially
embarrassed about it.
the younger guys. Don't think that you have to walk in pretending like you know what you're doing. I know how to use this. If you don't ask questions, believe me, them older guys, they want you to ask the questions so they can
Yep.
teach you.
They love it. They love it.
'Cause like you
Hmm.
said, you screw up, you could either hurt someone, kill yourself, screw up a whole job, you're
Hmm.
fired real quick.
Hmm.
Ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So tell me about your welding side. Let's hear about the welding side now.
All right. So for my welding side, I did train a girl. She's 18 now, and she's working on her fabrication, but she's a good welder now, and she is certified. She does just have her D1.1, but that's all I need her to have, and which is the flat weld position stick. And she's not that good at keeping things square, but she will get there. And as long as I go help her tack things up in the shop, I can leave everything for her and she'll weld it out. And it's great for me to help her with fabrication. And then it's also like, I mean, she didn't know how to do anything with blue collar or anything. She was a 17-year-old high school girl. And, so I mean, worked with her and I just tip her elbow or just, however, just I'm going to hold you here. I just physically help her. And she's a great welder. And she
Yeah,
loves it. And so
practice.
yeah, yep. And so I've got her, and I've also got my boyfriend. My boyfriend, he's been welding for 12 years, a lot longer than I have. He's taught me a lot about TIG. I was only a stick and a MIG welder.
Yeah,
Stick was,
I'm not. Yeah, it's stick is where it was at for me.
yeah,
MIG
me too.
is boring to me,
Yeah,
and then
MIG is elementary. Yeah,
TIG TIG is difficult. To me, it is. I mean, there's guys that I've watched that are like, it's what are you talking about? Just run it by. You're like, how did you do that?
I
I'm
love
not the
it.
best at TIG. I can lay down sort of a bead, but I'm not that great at it.
I don't take it personally, but I really feel like it's because you don't do your makeup. So,
How dare you?
okay. The reason I say that is like any woman that does her
Did-
eyeliner with a felt tip marker will know how steady your hand has to be, exactly where you fill in those little edges. It's just like watching the puddle dog.
Listen, they do say that women make better welders. They do. They say that they are more precise at it. They're steady hand.
Yeah, it's just a
Oh,
natural. It's easier for us to pick up naturally, I think, because and I think it's highly attributed to doing makeup and doodling and as a little girl.
so speaking of makeup, let's see your nails because I know that a lot of your videos you had them all done up, all different things, and I wanted to talk about that. So being in the field, how often do you break those nails and you're like, damn it, I gotta redo them?
Well, I've been going to shout out Tracy May at Beyond Nails in Williston. I've been going to her since I've been here. But she knows that I work in the oil field. I've came in there in oil and greasy and just reeking like kerosene. She and brake clean and everything else, and she doesn't care. She will stay late for me, and she knows to do them thicker because she knows what I do. So she just does them in a way they don't really break. She's
You gotta
good.
get some. You gotta see if you can find some like stainless steel ones.
I've done like the gunmetal chrome powder and all that. Yeah,
Those
I've
are
done.
awesome. I seen that. Yeah, a lot of your videos, you had your nails all different and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yeah.
wondering how that works out there.
You know, honestly, I love it when people bring it up because it works the same exact way as when a guy does this. Not how
So
my
it
head.
don't affect your in the gloves at all? No?
No, not at all. Not even the slightest bit. And honestly, I've been doing my nails since I was 15 years old. Aside from the 8 years I was in prison, I've been doing my nails my entire time. So
So it's like natural.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm used to it. Kind of. The only thing I do with my gloves is really this. I mean, if I can do that, fine. I'm good.
You're good to go.
I'm good to go. Honestly, it helps packing out a little bit easier sometimes. You know, there's ways when it helps. If I need a
Hurt?
box, when guys go to open a box, I just with my thumb, and they just look at me, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need
Yeah,
a
I
knife.
got it. I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, built in. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So that, I mean, honestly, I don't see any problem with women doing their nails in the oil field, and it's really honestly one of the only things as a woman that we get to keep. Because I did my makeup today for the podcast, but I am like not doing my makeup on a regular day to go to work. I mean,
I don't blame you.
yeah, I'm brushing my teeth, putting skincare on, and putting on deodorant. I'm out the door. But like the nails is kind of the only thing I get to have like that's womanly. All my blue collar clothes are manly. Um, Everything's manly. And it's not like I'm a man, so I don't like any of that shit. And so it's
Yeah.
the only thing I get to keep that's girly that I like is my nails.
So
That's
do you
why
get to wear pink? Do you wear pink a lot?
I wear pink whenever I am trying to make a point. So my pink shirt stays clean because I only wear it when I want to make a point. I'm wearing it today. But and the reason I say that is because, so I would say for the first year in the oil field, I was used to getting ready for work and waiting tables and doing my makeup and getting cute and going to work. Well, in the oil field, I started to develop this like mental thing where I thought I had to make myself look more manly for the guys to accept me. I don't know. It was like a weird thing I went through my head. I was like, I can't wear makeup to work. I can't smell good. I can't look cute.
You're
They're gonna
trying to
think,
fit into that
yeah, yeah. I'm trying
that
to,
category of what they yeah, exactly. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. And so I went through this thing to where I was watering down the woman in me to appease the men in the trades in the field that I was in. And it took me honestly 2 years to get that out of my system. So now when I go see men that are going to have a first impression of me, they don't know me, and I'm coming into even in lead position. I'm in a lead position now, and so when I come into a lead position where I know I have crews under me that are going to be like, "Who is this chick?" Yeah, I'm wearing makeup and pink on those days because I've earned it. You know, I've earned it to where when I show up with my nails done, my lashes done, my makeup on, my pink outfit, my pink FRs, and they look at me and they laugh. Then I start talking and they shut the fuck up. So I've earned that. And so I feel like I have gotten the watering my
I
woman
love it.
in me down. Yeah, I don't water myself down as a woman anymore.
Shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to. And I had to teach myself that. And so now I'm as womanly as I want to be. I might have a fuzzy steering wheel cover next week. I don't know. I mean, no. I don't water down the woman in me for men anymore.
No, you shouldn't have to. You can wear pink, purple, green, whatever colors you want. I don't care. Wear it out there. Be a
Yep.
woman. Have your nails done, your makeup done. As long as you can do the same job and you can get it done just as well, what's the issue? There's no issue.
I think that if I would have been as outwardly with the makeup and pink and nails as I am now, if I would have done this before I had the experience to back it up, it would have been a problem.
I could see that. Yeah, you make a good point on that one. You go in because then you're really gonna get eaten up. They're gonna be like, "See, she knows nothing. See, look at her. You know nothing," and you're like,
Yeah.
"Shit." Well,
Yep.
yeah, you got a
Yep.
point. No, I don't know much yet.
Yeah. So when I was new and I didn't know anything, I was looking real like a troll at work because I was scared to try to wear lip gloss because heaven forbid I have shiny lips when they try to teach me something. Yeah, so it's a little mental battle I dealt with as a woman coming out here and being the only woman. I've never worked with another woman in the oil field except for one, but I don't really count her for different reasons that I won't get into.
So I also wanted to get on this one because I can relate some way. A little different, but I laughed because it brought back a memory to me.
Mm-hmm.
Was that you were driving and you said, I didn't sign up to be a cattle rancher and all them cows in the road.
Yeah.
And I laughed really hard because there was a night, which I did a lot of night shift, and I'm in Florida. Well, it wasn't cows that were in the road, it was an 11-foot alligator
Oh my
blocking the road. And I had my service truck, so there was no going around because it was a pretty, decent sized
Yep.
service truck. So I literally had to get out, yell at it. No, I didn't want to move, so I had to go all the way around. It stood its ground and it wasn't moving. So I laughed pretty hard when I seen the cows because I was like, that's hilarious.
I've made friends with the cows since. I've made friends with them. Yeah, there's a lot of wildlife out here. I mean, I see deer, antelope, pheasants, coyotes, bobcats, mountain lions. Um, what else? Oh, all kinds of raptor birds, foxes. I actually saw a fox and a deer playing with each other. It was the cutest
What?
thing. Yeah, I actually, I have my, I have my binoculars because I'm a creep, and I'm a creep on wildlife. I think they're cute, and I just like to watch what they do. And I'm
Yeah,
also
I mean, you got the perfect opportunity if you're seeing all those animals. Why not?
all the time, every day. This is
Yeah.
every day, fleets of them. And so yeah, I was like, oh, I thought it was a moose that didn't have antlers because it was the biggest doe I've ever seen. And I was like, oh my god, that thing is tall. I was like, what is that? It looks like a moose but no antlers, and maybe it's an elk that lost its antlers. So I took my binoculars and I zoomed in. I was like, that's a that's a muley doe. That's the biggest girl I ever seen in my life. And I was like, what is that? What is that moving by her? I'm like, is that a fox? It was this cute little fluffy fox, and they were friends, and they were just hanging out, taking a
That's
stroll
wild.
together. I was like,
What are you doing? You got the welding down, you got the pumping down. Why are you not out there with a badass camera and get some photography down and you could be selling that too?
what's crazy is like I have a folder in my phone with all my oil field sunrise and sunset pictures, and I swear they should have hit me up for them landman cover shots because I got some good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could get my hands on a good camera. I want the Canon GX, G7X, but it's hard to get.
Well,
When I find it, I'll get it.
Tiffany has I don't even know. I know she has a decent camera, but we don't use it. Just sits there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like would happen with mine too, unless I put it in my lunchbox. But yeah, it would be nice. I mean, I was like right up next to a coyote. I scared it, and we scared each other. But I was walking up to my treater, and it came out this way, and it saw me, and like ah, and it was like boom, and it took off, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I was really, really close to a coyote on accident, but yeah.
I've seen coyotes out at the job site. I think one of the craziest thing is, the machines out there are really, really big. And we were moving one of them one day, and as we're moving it, a bobcat
Mhm.
came out of the tracks
Mhm.
and like darted out, but it darted towards where all of us were standing, darted toward the guys, and then it stopped because it sees the guys and it ran that way, and we're all like, it was a bobcat coming out of tracks.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. But yeah, alligators, we see them all the time. Coyotes, we got a lot of those.
Mhm. Possums.
Yeah, we got possums, raccoons,
Mhm.
iguanas.
Oh yeah. Monkeys now I heard.
I haven't seen any monkeys around us. I haven't seen any monkeys, but alligators, iguanas, snakes, and all that, we got all them.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Our deer, though, you would laugh at our deer.
Probably.
They're probably about the size of those coyotes you got. They're
Yeah,
not big at all. They're
I
terrible.
can't believe that doe I seen that. I've never seen a doe that big. I really thought it was moose.
You have moose around your area?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
moose. Elk, deer, antelope. We got it all.
Except all that cold weather, you can keep all that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I'm a little bit shivering right now because I'm keeping my heater off while I'm talking to you.
Turn your heat on. What are you doing?
Well, it only works on high because I changed out my resistor, and ever since I changed out my resistor, it doesn't work anymore. I have to put the old resistor back in because my blower motor went out and I messed with it. So, yeah.
Right now it is 79 degrees.
Right now it is 3 feels like -11.
Gross. I couldn't do it. Nope.
Yep. So I wear
Mm-mm.
Under Armour 4.0s every single day, and then I wear my FR shirt, and then I wear a hoodie, and then I wear a vest, and then but I'm cool like this until about.
How do you move?
I have so much dexterity. I'm totally good because of the vest. But if I was wearing a jacket, I would be like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
marshmallow or an insulated coverall. And so I like the vest with the setup that I have because if I need to get out and change a packing, I've got all the dexterity to hit my valves and close my radigans and everything else real quick. So I'm not uncomfortable, but I'm also comfortable because I'm from South Dakota. So I'm also comfortable
Yeah,
if
you're
it's
used to
about
it.
20 below. Then I'll put a coat on.
What kind of boots are you running?
Right now I have on the Mux Arctic Pro Sports. It's a basic everyday oil field boot. I like these for pumping. However, I do not like these on the rig floor, and I know a lot of guys love their Mux on the rig floor. For me, the Mux were slippery on the rig floor. On the rig floor, I wear Baff and Derricks. They have these little yellow spikes on the bottom of them, and they're just grippier when you're sliding around on metal with oil on it.
Oh,
So it depends on what I'm doing.
learn something new.
And then my welding shop, I have my Brunts. I wear Brunts with those in my welding shop. Those are my welding boots.
I've been looking at them. I've been thinking about getting me a pair of those to have because it's all I see now, and everyone is saying how great they are.
So comfortable. And they have 3 layers of insoles, and that's what does it. And then the outside, they don't get beat up. I mean, so
Really?
I have a pair of Brunts. I wore them every day for the longest time, and then saw a guy. His Brunts were in way worse condition than mine, but still not falling apart. They just are quality. And then the reason I like them in my welding shop is because it's all concrete floors. And if I'm walking around on concrete all day, my feet usually start to
Kills
hurt.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, but not in my Brunts. Not in my Brunts. It's those
Yeah,
insoles,
I've been
man.
looking at them because I see them all the time.
They're
They
good.
look nice, but everyone says that they're super comfortable, great
Mhm.
boots. So
Quality
yeah,
and comfort
maybe
there. Yeah,
check them out.
they did their big one on that for
Yeah, I've
sure.
had some really shitty boots before. I mean, I've had a lot of boots that don't last. The last
Yeah.
ones I can't remember what brand they were, but I had to have the metatarsal on the top,
hmm
and those were nice boots, and those lasted a while until I got electrocuted,
Yeah.
and then they cut them off.
Right.
300 pair of boots, snip them off.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the winter, I wear my mucks and on an everyday pumping job, and then in the summer, I wear Ariat Workforce boots. In the summer, like the roughneck edition or whatever. In the summertime, and yeah, and then on the rig floor, I wear my Baff and Derricks. They're like moon
And
boots, but they're traction.
the most comfortable boots I had were probably the Ariats,
hmm
the the work ones they had
Yeah.
like orange in the on the soles.
They're good. Yeah.
They're just slip-ons, and man, they were so comfortable.
hmm
And I finally got to the point where it was like, all right,
Yeah.
I need a new set. So I did. I bought a brand new pair, and I had them for 24 hours, and they hit a piece of metal, and it slipped the whole side of the boot open. And I was like, what is this? So I called them and said, hey, I had the exact same boot that lasted like a year and a half in the mine. These lasted 24 hours. What's going on?
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, well, we discontinued that boot. And I was like, all right, so what do I have? It looks like the same boot. And they're like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So they said, we'll send you a brand new pair. I said, okay. Well, they sent me a brand new pair, and it wasn't the same pair at all. They were purple, like cowboy boots. And I was like, what what are these? I'm not wearing these out to the pit. I was like, they'll kill me. So I finally got it done, but they weren't the same after that. That first set of Ariats I had, they were probably the most comfortable.
hmm
The great boot.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really like these mugs, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
the top part of them, like I kind of have big girl calves. And it's hard to fit your jeans in there. So like honestly, I'm seriously considering cutting the back of my muck boots down and then taking a piece of elastic bungee cord of some sort and putting a bungee on the back so I can stuff my pants in my boots and then bungee in the back. I might fabricate my mucks a little bit to make them better,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
you know. But
I
I
mean,
mean,
the leather you can cut and sew in you some new leather and
yeah,
a little
yeah,
extension.
right, exactly,
You
exactly,
know.
yeah, for sure.
So, is there anything that you would like to say to the younger generation, to the women that want to come in trades? What's your advice?
My advice would be to, honestly, I'm such an advocate for working for yourself and being your own boss and not letting anyone have control over you. But that doesn't work for everybody because a lot of people find comfort in having that W-2 security. I have such an entrepreneur lifestyle and mindset that doesn't work for me. But what I would say is to just come into either position and soak everything up as a sponge with a game plan. Soak everything up like a sponge. Take every piece of information that you can and be as open minded and no attitude. There is no reason for anyone to get snippy with anyone at work ever. Realistically, don't. Talk to me nicely because I'm a ginger and you don't want me to unleash. Just saying, because then I'll be in trouble, not you. It just will work out that way because I'll take it too far. And so I just think that there's no reason for anybody to ever have an attitude with anybody at work ever. Talk like an adult and use your words nicely.
Yeah.
And soak everything up at, like you're a sponge, and just take every little bit of information that you can and ask all the old dudes as many questions as possible. And if they explain it to you, because as a woman, men have a tendency to explain things like with all these technical terms because they want to sound so cool and smart.
No, we're gonna
But
dumb it down real quick for you.
yeah, and so the old guys, when the guys will explain something to me when I'm new, and they'll be like, "Okay, so you're gonna want to grab your 9/16 and come over here to the Radigan and back out the BPR by 2.5 turns," and I'm like, "Hold up, talk to me like I'm 5, please." Tell me like I'm 5. Okay, that knobby thing over there with the nut on it, twist it out just a little bit and
Yeah.
turn it out. Thank you. You don't have to tell me all the technical terms. Okay, so you want me to turn down a flare regulator? Tell me to take the little stick thingy and tell me about the stick thingy. Like when I explain it to people, I explain it to them like they're kids and they just understand. You don't have to make things complicated when you explain things. And I feel like a lot of these guys want to sound smart, and so they just give you all the technical terms.
But you have to
Yeah,
think that if someone has never done this in their life and they get into it, you can't be like, "Hey, go grab this, this, that," and use the technical terms or whatever it's called because that person has no clue what it even is.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Go. You see the red thing? Uh huh. All right.
Yeah,
Go turn that. Okay.
that is how I like to be trained and how I like to train.
And for the person giving those instructions, they're not going to come back and ask you 10 more times, "What did you say?" Because they're going to get it the
Yeah,
first time. Done.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I honestly think it's really important for people to not max themselves out on their potential by being at a W-2 job. So if you're at a W-2 job and these are the only places I can move up here, how can I excel past once I get to the top part? How can I excel past that? Is that the business owner? Okay, so if I want to excel and excel and excel at this W-2 job, then I get to the top dog. Once I'm the top dog, how do I become the topper dog? You own the company then. So if you just go own the company, just go own just you can become the company. And okay, health insurance, 401k, savings, retirement. Why can't you match your own 401k? You are the company and you're the
Yeah.
employee. You can give yourself health insurance. You can match your own 401k.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a company do it for you. You can become the company and do it for yourself. And I don't think a lot of the new generation people realize that that's a real thing you can do. Just do
No,
it.
but it all starts, like you said, to go in, get all the information you can, be a
Mm-hmm.
sponge, talk to the old
Right,
guys
true.
because for all you younger kids out there right now that are watching, that are thinking about getting in the trades, this is your opportunity to talk to them old guys because they're gonna retire very shortly.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting to that point that they are going to be gone. And then
Yeah.
you're going to have the guys that have learned from them, but a lot of that knowledge, it'll be gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I know exactly. And those old guys, the generation of old guys that we have right now are the cream of the crop of the old
Yeah,
dudes.
100%.
I mean, dang, it don't get no much better than them.
Yeah, they're the wizards. They know it all. They do. They really know the tricks, the ins and outs. So I mean,
Yeah,
like I said, now they are gonna be hard asses. They ain't gonna play no games with you. They're gonna if
I
you
love
fuck
it.
up, they're gonna let you know it.
I
But
love it.
that's the way to learn. Take it in.
Hmm.
Don't get upset. Well, Stephanie, it was amazing having you on here. It was an honor to have you on here, and I'm so proud of from where you have started to where you are now.
Thank you.
And I've told you, once you get a crew together and you start building this business more, we definitely want you back on the podcast to explain it, talk about it,
Thank you.
flaunt it because you're killing it out there.
I appreciate that.
So, once again, thank you for coming on the podcast. It was great having you on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.